Welcome back, Bannock folks. You're tuned in to another Locals Only here on the Bannockdotes YouTube channel. This is your Niagara Canadian-wide cheat sheet for underground and unsigned musicians. We are here to bring you all the news and new singles that are coming out of Canada, most specifically Ontario, but we're hitting all sorts of different marks on this one. I'm here with my host, Beach Guy.
So I'm Beach Guy because you said you're here with my host. So I would be the host in that scenario. You look like a beach guy right now, actually, kind of looking at my hair. Got that beach guy middle part going on.
Yeah, I know, Beach Guy.
Nice. And this is Butt Boy. I don't mean anything by that. This is your Ontario underground music cheat sheet. We go Canada wide. We actually went to Mexico this time, so we're busting out of Canada. So we have a shocking amount to get through today. Actually, it's kind of fucked up. There's a lot more, so much music dropped in the last 4 or 5 weeks. It's pretty absurd. There's a couple old ones on this list too, just because we missed some stuff. A shocking amount of music has come out. I'm looking for my dog. So we are going to jump into that with you. Sorry, Phil. What the fuck have I done? Okay. I almost deleted my whole doc. That's okay. I almost deleted every note I had. Hours of writing. Hours. Just almost gone. But that's cool. We seem to be good. All I was trying to do was zoom in a bit. Fort Erie Pessimism Pushers, Kawthra, have released an EP, an album, I'd say. Actually, it's 30 minutes. It's over 30 minutes. I think that qualifies as an album. This is called Mindfulness, ironically, when you listen to it. Now, I want to start right off the bat by saying that whenever I say Kawthra's name, it makes me want to say Kawthra because I love that ice cream.
It's good ice cream.
Yes, it's very good, actually. It's like pretty goated, actually. This is super sludgy, despondent. 6 songs, but it comes in like at over a half an hour long. There's a lot of like tension building moments in it. Very doomy. There's like a crusty overtone to everything as well. This is the sonic equivalent to cracking an egg, only to fill your pan with blood. Don't remember writing that. That happens to me sometimes. It has like big crawling repetitive riffs, mantric vocal delivery. It gives everything like a really like evil presence. And it has that like, and this is like what I find really good doom and sludge metal does, is it has that like sort of tantric trance feeling to it as well. And there's a real like uncompressed mix on this. You can hear like the finger sliding and stuff like that. It makes it feel very like raw, almost like you're in the room with them. Super heavy sonically and emotionally. It's really, really cool.
This was extremely heavy. This release belongs aside like A Primitive Man, Full of Hell, The Body, like all those like abysmal sounding bands that really like kind of bring that like unsettling, earth shattering like noise to the table. This was a great like EP to listen to while at the gym. I wish I took more time to dive into the lyrics because I was just kind of listening to it on a surface level, but it seemed to be very deep and meaningful. I was a big fan of their previous release. I have it on vinyl. These set of musicians are also, they've been around the block for a while there, and they're like well calculated with how they want to sound. You need to see these folks live because they bring like a really punishing energy.
Yeah, it definitely seems like their goal isn't to make you. There's moshy parts. It's very moshable. There's plenty of like slam riffs and stuff like that, but it definitely feels like it's more there to make you uncomfortable than to make you dance. Like it's just so like oppressive sounding.
Next up, we have Montreal Mosh Makers Brusierweight with their single Vanity. Now, I had the lovely opportunity of actually seeing these folks last weekend here in Fredericton. Right. It was the first hardcore show I actually got to go to since I've been here. Feeling really recharged, seeing like a cool show like that. It was a really cool gig. I've attended a bunch of these underground shows at this point. I've played a bunch of them. I go to these shows And then when don't have that for like 3 months or so, you kind of miss that kind of setting. So you don't know what you got till it's gone, kind of thing. So it was good to see this band, and this band was super cool, really energetic. They were super nice. They're friends of Reality Denied. They played this single like I think mid set, like I knew exactly what. So I got to see the song live. Yeah, what I really liked about this was like Fredericton. I gotta call you out. There was a lot of push moshing going on, and the vocalist was not having it. He was like, "What's going on with this push moshing?" And he was right. There was a lot of push moshing for a band like Bruiserweight. Like this is like a
It looked
band
like
like
a Cannibal Corpse show in there.
it's just like a band like Terror, right? This is supposed to be like a full blown pit, and I mean, there's a couple people doing that, but like, yeah. Anyway, this was super cool, super awesome set. I picked up some gear from them after too. Yeah, love what they were doing.
Street style hardcore, power violence slant to it as well. Reminds me of Trapped Under Ice, or like Crown of Thorns. It sounds like music written by Pitbulls, not Pitbull, like Pitbulls the dog.
Not like
Um,
Mr. Worldwide.
well, maybe if he went a hardcore direction, but no, yeah, this sounds like music written by Pitbulls the dog. Militant barks, thick rhythm guitars, slinky bass tones, splashy drums. This song will have you pulling out all the moves from your Mosh handbook. This is the type of band that makes you want to like throw on a balaclava, call myself something like Tyler Too Sweet, and start a backyard wrestling federation. Does that make sense? It makes sense in my head.
I know that guy.
You know Tyler Too Sweet?
Yeah,
Yo, London Thrash Man, Tommy Wood.
Frank, what the hell are you doing, man?
That's my character. I'm the
Thrash
man. I come out, I throw
Thrash
all over the ring.
World Grasp has released a new single called Go Away. The first thing I wrote here was, what if Cruel Hand was crueler? Multi-instrumentalist, Rust vocalist, friend of the show, and all-around cutie patootie, Tommy Wood is the London Thrash Man. This song is just absolutely dripping in like Metallica worship. The mix on this release is like super thick, full. Tommy sounds ferocious. Vocals are super gritty. Riffing is super fun, super bananas. I love the main riff progression in this song and the way it's being used until the end of the song and how it's just manipulated throughout. His lower vocal register is interesting to hear. That was fun to hear. Yeah, I love the final breakdown. This is like moshable hardcore wearing the skin of your dad's favorite 80s thrash band. Super cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, Tommy's back at it again. It's his like one man hardcore project. Like, I think he fills out some of the roles live. He's producing it. It's Metallica core. It's more Cruel Handy. It's more. If Cruel Hand were a little bit more handy than Cruel.
No, crueler. Honey crueler. Yo, Goated. By the way, sorry, I need to stop you now. Goated Donut, the honey crueler.
Oh yeah.
It never feels like enough donut, but it tastes so good, dog.
The tire tractor.
That is a good donut. Shout out the honey crueler.
If I'm not mistaken, World's Grass doesn't play nearly as much as Russ does. So
I don't think they play live. I don't think he has a band for World's Grass. It'd be very interesting to see him do everything at once. Tommy, we challenge you. Play a show, do everything.
I've seen and played shows with World's Grass before.
Interesting. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. Tommy does like guitars and vocals, and normally fills out somebody on bass.
Right. It's probably just been. I'm assuming it's been a while. Then would be my guess.
But if you do get to see them live,
I'd love to. Yeah, I love World's Grass.
Yeah, definitely go check them out. Right, next up, we have Southern Ontario Omelette Core, Badegg, with their release Century Egg. Now, this was, anti-capitalist hard-boiled eggs. At their sorry, I'm going to say anti-capitalist hard-boiled punks back at it.
Oh my god, that was the mistake. You just called them hard-boiled eggs. That's getting left in. That's so funny. Oh my god.
It's got that like 80s hardcore punk edge to it. It kind of feels like you're in a time capsule. This was super cool, blending elements of like raw aggressiveness, Stacy and Chris, the guitarist and vocalist, always deliver with this band. They're great people. They're good people. They've always done Hellbent really well, throwing us on shows, putting us in and on festivals and
That's a good
whatnot.
mix too.
Hmm.
You guys match well.
Yeah, no bells or whistles other than the sound clips that are like, oh, and the ending with the techno kind
There's
of.
a lot happening in that last song. Yeah, I wrote it's a multifaceted, ambitious last song.
I like the Judas Priest clip where it was like, breaking the leash. They're doing fun stuff in between to show that they're like not necessarily taking this seriously, but are serious in what they're talking about. It's this like giant mixture of all sorts of funness that's happening, which ultimately is what's about being in a band. So yeah, this was great.
They really want you to know how much you should hate your landlord. This band also, we always talk about playing the riff but slower. We haven't mentioned it as often. We're dropping our gimmicks, folks. We're giving you the raw shit. But this band likes to play the riff faster. Like, it happens quite a bit. Like, they'll just start speeding stuff up. You add in phased out leads and like reverbed battle cries, shimmering trebly mix that stabs your ears like a makeshift prison shank. This band takes the hardcore punk playbook and refuses to color in the lines, but it never seems to ruin the picture. It just adds its own artistic spin. Thank you, to the overall image. And the last song, is completely nuts. It's one of those releases where all the songs are super quick, and then the last one is just like really long. But this one is like borderline, like it sounds like a meme at times. Like, it's just mixing all these different clips. This album's like a joy to listen to. I love every single we got from them leading up to this. They're clearly having fun with this. It's unpredictable. It's fast. It's furious. It's funny. It's fantastic. What starts with an F? Fart.
Phil. Oh wait.
Oh no. Southwest Shredder's Prosector have leaned fully into tongue-in-cheek and have a single out called War with Du Bois. This is music written by Warhammer 40k characters. Like, that's what this is. That I'm not wrong. This is heavy, techy, shreddy, slammy death mixed with like an impossible sounding digital guitar tone. The mix is really good. Everything that should sound clean and bright does. Everything that should sound weighty and heavy does. Vocals are thick and like enormous sounding. And that last breakdown makes you want to go berserker mode. This is it reminds me of like Molotov Solution or like Oceano. It actually reminds me a lot of Molotov Solution, which were like kind of goated for me when it comes to like that deathcore back in the day. Like, there was a lot of bands that were pretty good, but like there were few that, like, in such a homogenous genre, it can be hard to stand out. And like Molotov and Oceano always did for me, and they specifically remind me of those two. Coming from a genre like deathcore, which has kind of run tired, this doesn't feel like old rehashed deathcore. This feels more like finding an old metal tee and like using it to like decorate like a new jacket. It feel like it harkens back to like old deathcore stuff, but it feels like new. I like it. I like it. And again, I like the tongue just planted right in the cheek with this. The album artwork only solidifies my fact that they're trying to sound like Warhammer 40k characters. So yeah, this ripped.
I wrote, do you like Doom and the soundtrack? Because Prosector does. And even if it's not what they were going for, I can easily see myself gunning down some hell demons to this song.
Like a Warhammer 40 character.
The production is massive on this, like you were saying. I've had the pleasure of playing with these folks last spring in London. And they actually were able to kind of like replicate that sound live. For those who may not know, like, some of this music can be really tough, especially when you're doing samples and clicks and all sorts of different, backbeats being thrown involved. However, this band actually managed to, hit all the marks on that, and they were really cool live. So yeah, this song, just to back what you were saying, massive vocals are massive, always sounds like buildings are falling, all the things that we say.
Yeah. Apocalyptic core, War with Du Bois core.
Next up, we have Hamilton Heavy Rock, Loversteeth with their single Branches of Argyle. This was a cool song. This song kind of. I wrote that it sounds like it belongs in a movie. Like I don't know
Okay, I
what I.
agree. I
Mhm.
agree.
I don't know what I necessarily mean by that, but I know that I mean it. It could like feel like it could be in like a trailer for like a maybe like the latest Crow movie coming up with I think who is it? Skarsgård, Bill
Yeah.
Skarsgård.
Okay. God, I have to do this now too. What do you think of the Crow reimagination? Like what they made him look like?
Oh, this new one. Oh, this just
Yeah.
looks terrible.
Oh, I like it. I kind of like it. Fuck, man. I swear to God, I kind of like it. And I feel weird about it because everyone hates it.
Hey, listen. People were wrong about things before, and you stuck to your guns, right? And people were shitting on you because of American Idiot by Green Day, and now people revere that record as like one of their best.
Bill Skarsgård the Crow will be hated and loved one day. Mark my words.
It's very emotive, highly produced. Seems like an epic ballad. This is like emo, ambient, all the words that start with a vowel. Epic. Um, I think I already said emotive, but you know what I mean.
Astronaut.
Yeah, overall vibe that speaks louder than just the songs.
The first half of it builds up like a lot of layers and it like sets this tone for like a despondent ballad. And it's like really haunting. The vocals sound really really good. Like it's like kind of like a beautiful performance.
Hmm.
It's really nice. It's present, it's drama drenched, sounds ghostly. The mix on the song, like you were saying, yeah, it's just absolutely crazy. All the dynamics have been so fine-tuned perfectly in this song. Like it's such like an incredible mix and master. It reminds me of like Deftones, Failure, a little bit of Joy Division. It's not like their catchiest song by any means or anything like that, but I think this is easily one of their like most interesting.
Hmm.
So next up on the old dock, we got Niagara Couch Co-opers Game Changer with their EP side scroller. This is a collection of their songs dating back from like 2020 and up. There's a couple
Hmm.
new ones on here. I thought this immediately just based on the name and the album artwork and the conventions of what they're doing with that this was going to be some like really like synthy and 8-bit, and that's not like the case at all. It's like kind of like fun bright like pop rock basically. Like each song has like its own personality. The first track has like a super infectious rhythm. It reminds me of like the Smiths or like Franz Ferdinand
Hmm.
actually. And
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
the whistle lead. I find it very very charming. I also can't whistle, so I think there's a little envy there. Yesteryear is like a traditional indie rock track, but it's got like a big, like honky, I wrote synth lead. Like it just sounds like a horn almost, like it's a honky lead.
Yeah.
And the third track, which I think is like more of like an interlude, that was like my favorite one. Maybe it's because I don't really listen to like theater kid core stuff, but like the piano and like theatrics of that song, like its song sounded like something like a Disney villain would sing. Like I really enjoyed it. It was really good. And then the last two songs are like catchy, bright indie rock songs. They're both older cuts from them. I think those ones are from like 2020, 2021.
Hmm.
And a lot of good bass work on here, especially in the song Migraine. Yeah, this was super cool. Shout out Johnny. This was just another fun project that this man he's in everything. He's always on our he's probably his name has probably shown up on Locals Only more than anybody else. So
Yeah, with Gordon Bombay, Union Sons, his solo work, the Game Changers, and him in Highfield Studios, him in his studio are always pumping out cool stuff. And yeah, this is just to echo what you're saying, pop rock. The artwork kind of just reminds me of like a '90s parents' basement. Um, this was a cool mix of like if you took like Tom Petty and like Imagine Dragons, if that makes sense.
okay,
This was like
okay.
poppy and had like old rock to it. It had these like synth elements that necessarily didn't feel out of place. They were just adding like absolute character to a lot of these songs, and yeah, they were all. There was the one song where the dude's just burping right at the end, um, yeah. This was great. This was super cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Wasn't what I expected by the naming conventions and all, but super fun. Shout out Johnny.
Saga City Screamo in Jenafur have a release called Hearse coming out, or it's out now. It's got three songs on it. Our big homie dog, Nick Ginn, produced this. This is 3 tunes. This was really cool stuff. Like, they're hitting so many marks, and we were surprised to see more songs from this because they just released something on, like, I think it was December 31st of 2023. Like, it hasn't been that long since we've heard new music. You know how like MC are like poster boys for emo, and if you look into them a little bit further, they've got like pop punk elements. I think I've talked about this before. That's kind of what's going on with like Jenafur. If like you look at it like on a surface level, it's like screamo. However, like the leads and like the drum patterns and the overall catchiness, you notice it's like very pulling from like Joyce Manor, like even Weezer. I think I reference a lot of Weezer in this month, locals only.
I didn't type their name once, so it'll be interesting to weigh that against what I wrote.
Giving it more like a rich and dynamic edge. Yeah, this was super cool.
I love this band, Phil. Like this release is so good. This is like MySpace era screamo, but cleaned up and given more of like a modern day polish. And it sticks to like faster, more punk rock sensibilities. That's what I used to like about Funeral for a Friend, and that's what I liked about Ecstatic Lullaby. I like how those were like screamo bands, but they were punk. They were fast. They weren't like, it wasn't like tons of melodic stuff happening all the time. Vocals are super growly. He has like a real nice natural distortion on their voice. Cleans are sparsely used, and they're used more for like layering on this project, or like like, you know how like bands, a lot of emo bands in their later career would have like this upfront singing and accented screaming. They are doing the reverse of that in a way that I think works way better. It's way more compelling. And I find that the guitars are like, there's like a dash of Midwest flair in them, but you're not used to hearing Midwest flair with so much gain on it. And it sounds so bright and so catchy. Like the guitars, aside from the vocals, are so catchy on their own accord. Like I constantly hear the lead from the song Hearse in my head, the doo 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 doo. Like it's like I hear it in my head all the time. Like it was these set of tracks. I don't know whether this is just 3 tracks before an album and it's just named after the most recent single. I thought it was an EP when I added it, but these 3 songs are awesome. And yeah, you're right. They put out music not too long ago. We were just talking about them, and yeah, I loved this release. This is super impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing them live. I should be seeing them soon, so I'll report back. Toronto new moshers Sewn have put out a new single called Heartworm, but you're obviously aware of that because Sewn rules, and because you watch our channel, and that video came out 2 days before this one. So go check that video out if you haven't yet, if you want to see what our full thoughts on Sewn were, and shout out to them because, spoiler alert, this song fucking slaps. It is so good.
Toronto's, and I quote, "We are not a band, we are a car," Camero are out with Test Drive. These are 3 songs. It's a gimmick band with Simpson sound clips, and the snare tone resembles that dodgeball sound that we always talk about. Like,
yeah, it's in my note.
I'm in. Like, I am sold. This band
it's
is super cool. This encapsulates everything I love about hardcore, like similar to like Drain, I wrote down. You can tell that this band doesn't take themselves very seriously. However,
they're not a band. Stop it. They're a car. You can tell this car doesn't take itself very seriously. You can take that again, please.
You can tell that this car doesn't take themselves seriously. However, the music speaks for the volumes. It's aggressive. It's fast. Levels of energy that give me like I can run a marathon twice in one day. I know I really like this release. Shout outs to Julio. He filled in a Hellbent tour, so shout out to him. We always got mad love for Julio. This is awesome. He's also the drummer of Clobber, so that's cool.
Clobber rules, and so does Camero. This is that good old chugga chugga. This is fast, relentless. I wrote dodgeballed out snare tone because it's when you hear that, it just elevates any song, any genre. By the way, I don't care if you make lo-fi hip hop, dodgeball that fucking snare. What are you doing? This Camero comes out fully decked out. You get two steps, breakdowns, dive bombs, absolutely pissed off vocals. And man, that album artwork. I love that album artwork. It looks like a case to like a video game you would have found on the Super Nintendo at Blockbuster or for Jumbo Video for real ones. Yeah, this is absolutely relentless, tongue-in-cheek hardcore written by a car.
Yeah, this was super cool.
So, Niagara Falls' finest hardcore band, Wildside, have released Hardcore Music Machine. The first 35 seconds of this song, you might have thought that you accidentally put on like an Iron Maiden album. But nope, it's Wildside. I do love the intro though. It feels like epic. And it like does this like kind of like cold transition into like a proper Wildside song about halfway through. The total like quick and blunt change of tone. The dynamics remind me of like mid-career Turnstile, but the vocalist keeps it from ever really feeling that way because he has such like a character of his own. This feels like three songs smashed together, but like in a really cohesive way.
I was super excited to see like when we had Wildside written down on our list. Like it's been 5 years since we've actually gotten a new song from the band. So super excited to see that. This band has gone through a lot of stuff within that time. The guitarist, Andrew, was actually hit by a car when he was walking down the street in LA, and there's all sorts of GoFundMe's, and I think he's well on his way to healing now. Everything is good, but it's been a long time, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they've gone through some member changes. I don't think that there's people in this band that used to play in it anymore. So, it's cool to see that they're making music. We love to see that. So, this is just like a classic Wildside blueprint. It's got the dive bombs, the gnarly guitar solos, the shouty vocals. When we're going to get another LP, when we're going to get another release or an EP, who knows? But just keep it coming because, we all love Wildside. All right, next up we have Niagara Metalcore purists, us alike, with their release Prey. The Giants are back at it again. It feels like there's only like a handful of like metalcore bands like still in Niagara anymore. Like it feels like there used to be so many of them, so active at all times. Song that we were getting from the band, whether they're gonna put this out on a full release, we still have yet to find out. But yeah, I know this was super cool. We love metalcore. It's always coming out of Welland. There always seems to be like this like bountiful metalcore thing still happening there in a time where like there's not too many metalcore bands still kind of around where there used to be so many of them. This was super cool. Kind of reminds me of like For the Fallen Dreams and like
oh my
Architects.
God, shut up, dude. I have For the Fallen Dreams written like right at the top of my notes for this band.
Yeah, no,
or for this song specifically. That's interesting. Like first album For the Fallen Dreams.
Yeah, For the Fallen Dreams. If people haven't guessed by now, in locals only, we really like to mention a lot of other bands just to give like references and footnotes. I'm sure that's clear at this point, but like I'm just making sure that it is.
Yeah.
We typically like to pull references just so people can understand like, oh, I know that band. This is where this, and if you typically like that, that's kind of like an entry point. So if it sounds like that we're always mentioning other bands, that's why. And I don't know if we've ever mentioned that or made that clear.
Well, and because we don't, because copyright is just such an annoying thing to have to deal with on YouTube, we don't use like clips of each band. We just kind of show the record, assume you've listened to it or you have interest in listening to it and talking about it. So by mentioning other bands, we can also help contextualize if this might be something you're interested in. And I forgot to mention this at the top of the show. I've compiled a playlist of all the songs in order that we've spoken about them, and that will be shared in the bio of this video. So you can go check out every single song that we mention on this, and I highly encourage you to. The playlist is there. It's all in order. Get caught up. Yep. I wrote down For the Fallen Dreams. I also wrote down like Mirrors era Misery Signals. Heavy but atmospheric and like very like convincingly emotional. Constant lead going on is very, very haunting. Vocals are very impactful, sound very full of meaning. Sounds like there's a lot of actual conviction in it. These guys are interesting. They're very, very melodic. They're very, very heavy. And yeah, they're doing that very rare sort of super classic type of metalcore. That like old sort of, not like I don't want to call them old, but you know what I mean? They're like that classic metalcore, that like kill switch engage metalcore. You know what I mean? I walked away from the last time we talked about the band Expel absolutely loving their sludgy punky hardcore. I think I referred to them as sewercore because they sound like it's sewer music. Okay, it makes sense to me. They have a single out called Snakes. These are the Toronto Sewer Gators. Now, I'm pretty sure we just talked about this band, but I'm pretty sure that it was an old release. I think it was a 2023 release that we missed. And this just sounds more like someone being chased through a sewer by some sort of shit monster than ever. This song is a piss-covered punch to the face. It's a shoe-covered shit to the face. It just sounds so much more sludgy. It's like sludgy hardcore, kind of like the way Gel does on their latest record, where it just like it sounds like a hardcore band wading through sludge while they play. I love the tone. I love the mix. Whatever they're doing to get that reverbed out sewer feeling just gives them such a strong identity. Like I know them as soon as I hear them. This is like the hardcore equivalent to giving someone a swirly. It's so good.
Yeah, I know this. I love me some hardcore punk, like not quite hardcore, not quite punk, somewhere like married somewhere right in between the middle. Those airy vocals, minimal growls, like ambient but bright yet aggressive, like guitars. Yeah, I'm also a big fan of the wizard holding the snake on the artwork there. This like, and you can tell it's a wizard. Like the sleeve it's a wizard sleeve. Yeah, this was cool. It's like a modern production with like a vintage sound simultaneously being brought to the table. It was super cool.
Yeah, no, they absolutely rule. I need to see that band live.
Next up, we have Valley City Fuck You Core and Toronto Punch Punks, Qwan, and Big Fist. This is a release from 2023, but we're catching up on it and covering it here on the show.
I recently saw Qwan live, and they just like absolutely crushed it. And I was listening to their most recent split with Big Fist before the show, and I started to think about the fact that I don't think we actually covered this band last year. And then so I started going through our old episodes looking for it, and I realized for whatever reason, we never covered this split. So we're going to do the damn thing now.
Qwan aren't really scared to go for it. They explore all different elements within the beatdown, grindcore, punk, hardcore, metal. It also kind of reminds me of like the band, I don't know if you remember, the legendary Klopuks. Yep. Fronted by Pepper Klopex of was it the Ore Blocks or whatever, the Freak Show Act or whatever. Anyway, they ended their songs. They ended their songs with "fuck you" every time. And
just for context, the legendary Klopex were the band where like fans would bring like baking pans in to beat the shit out of each other with. That legendary Klopex.
Yeah.
And people with muffin tins just fucking each other up.
And then, at the end of every show, they would put the singer right through the table full of mousetraps and tacks and whatnot. There's also, like I said, he's in a traveling freak show act with his brother. And
that's amazing. I mean, that's an interesting life.
They've been on Canada's Got Talent and whatnot. It's crazy. Anyway,
interesting.
That's not this band though. We're talking about Qwan.
Right. I got lost in the story.
Qwan, they clearly are having fun making their music. You can tell that they're not getting lost in necessarily what they want to look or sound like. They're just playing stuff that they want to do. It just kind of reminds me of being in high school and starting that band, just being all right, this is what we're going to sound like. And
let's just figure it out.
Yeah, let's just the camaraderie is really, you can tell that it's there. And I wanted to ask, how was the stage presence?
They were phenomenal. They genuinely crushed it live. They were really good.
More so what I guess I'm asking is were they having fun live, or was they tough guy live, or
No, it was fun. Yeah, good vibe, really good. Their vocalist actually has quite a star power to him.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's fun as hell. Yeah, Qwan has fun as hell songwriting. I like the demo quality on this recording, but I really, really would like to hear the next batch of songs that they record just cleaned up a little bit, because I really think that like a little more polish on the mix of this band could get them more notice, and I think they deserve to be noticed. Anthropologies is play the riff but slower the entire song. Like, it's such a simple way to get me to love a song, is to just play one riff slower and slower and slower. I love like the moments where they like leave like the vocalist like giving ideas in and stuff. Like it's again, I love that feeling of like I'm in the recording room with them, almost like that like convincing floor recording feeling. And yeah, their vocalist Quinn, I believe his name is, because I was speaking with the drummer, and apparently their name is called Qwan because that was their vocalist's nickname in high school. So yeah, they're like a hardcore Bon Jovi.
Okay.
Yeah, he has so many different vocal ideas going on throughout this whole split. Like, you can't like nail him down. Like, there is no set genre at all. Like, every single song just sounds completely different, very raw feeling. They just feel creative. It's like playing like Botch and Bury Your Dead at the same time. Like, it's like wild. They're just, yeah, it just feels like you were saying too, and I wrote this down. This feels like people just making some heavy shit in a room. Like, no rules. We don't talk about influences. We don't talk about bands we're listening to. We just get together and just start playing the music together. Like, it sounds like jam music created. It's fun as hell. I really, really like Qwan.
And for Big Fist, I wrote down, that like this, they were going to sound like a beatdown band, especially after hearing all that stuff from Qwan. But they were just, they were more like a punk band with like an edge. This was super cool. This had one of my favorite songs on this. I can't remember what the song title was. I think it was Proper Gym Wear.
That's a great song. It's a good song.
And he's like, it's so stupid. Why were you wear jeans at the fucking gym? Which is true. That's a gym I've never.
That's an insane.
I haven't seen any. No,
okay,
I haven't.
No, it'd be insane. There's like an It's Always Sunny thing where they wear jeans at. They just show up in jeans. Or no, it's just D. It's such a good clip.
We should do that. You know what else we should do? Get some new outfits.
Let's get some new outfits.
Right?
That's a great idea. You decided to rock jeans, for instance. I'm confused by that.
Yeah, I chose jeans. I'm not seeing a lot of other jeans.
I've never seen jeans in a gym.
Like, this was such a different kind of like flavor. This was a good split for that reason, because you could tell very easily which was who after the one band stopped playing, which is what you want in a split. But yeah, this was super cool. Big Fist was fast, punk, gritty. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, one of the things I really liked about Big Fist, I liked a lot of things. I have quite a long note for them too. This section for these two bands was big in my notes. I like how like they'll go from like super thrashy to bringing the speed down like on an instant dime into a two-step riff and stuff. Like, they have this like great way of blending like punk, hardcore, and like thrash all together. Bomb This City, like the first song is like totally unhinged. Like, the way it keeps picking up, it sounds like early Rise Against just having a cage match with the Gorilla Biscuits. Good Bad has like the frantic energy of like a System of a Down song. The singer barely sounds like he has time to get the words out as he's going through it. It really reminds me of like early Rise Against, like Siren Song and before, like where like Rise Against with like man, Siren Song of the Counterculture is a crazy record. It's a really good record. But yeah, this is just like a two-step thrashy assault with like fun ass breakdowns all over it. Both these bands rule. We didn't miss you on purpose. Shout out Qwan. Shout out Big Fist. You both rule. I want to see you both, and I'll be paying attention to both of these bands. So, Toronto Death Doom band is Ischemic. Have put out a single called Rust and Bones. This is an ambitious, long, like, dare I say, proggy death metal song. This is coming in at a little over 6 minutes. A few long songs in a row I noticed on the list here. The first half of this song, they have almost these like chamber bell like leads and like a very like steady deathy tremolo riff. Vocals are big and inhuman. The mix is really nice. Everything's very present and well balanced. And then around the halfway point, the song just like does like a flip on the tremolo riff. And then they just go into like the second half of just like constant like a dragging like gallop riff. It sounds like there's like a large monster after you. Like it's cool. It's super fun. Very very deathy.
I know. I wrote down that this was a really cool blend of death metal and black metal put together. Like this was like they had the tremolo riffs and like the hi hat rides that like a typical black metal song would have with like the growls and deepness of like a death metal song. Yeah, this was a cool blend of both of them, especially if you like both of those. Yeah, it was more like a death metal ballad with like a progressive black metal song. Yeah, super cool. I would like to hear this off a release, but yeah, if you're a fan of both of those kind of like genres in general, yeah, there's no doubt you would like this. Next up, we have the heaviest riffs in Mexico with Enemy 906. Finish You featuring Cranium. I don't even know how we ended up with this song on our list.
I was going to ask you that. You added this, right?
Yeah, I added this and I realized that this band is from Mexico, and I have no
Fuck
idea.
it.
But here we are. This was super heavy. This was like, I don't know. Like I think it was getting. I think this was the band that was getting big Despised Icon like vibes. This was super, yeah, like like how perfect deathcore where like hardcore was still infused in like the deathcore
there's
element.
breeze in this. There's breathing in this.
Yeah, this was super cool. I will. Mexico always has like heavy bands coming out of them, like, and super cool. Like, I believe Zabulba is from Mexico.
Yep, I'm pretty sure.
And there's a handful of other ones. But like, yeah, no, this was heavy music. Enemy 906. I also thought it was funny because 905 is like the Niagara.
Maybe that was the confusion. You're like, that must be close. It's one number off.
That's gotta be it.
I, for one, am excited to break into the Guadalajaran music scene. Yeah, I had no clue how this ended up on the list, but I was like, I guess Phil is adding a Mexican band, which I am totally down for. This is fucking heavy as hell. It's an endless breakdown, beatdown structure song. Reminds me of Paleface. And I've recently gotten really into Paleface. I don't know what it was. I was like, oh, this seems kind of cringy, and I avoided Paleface. And Paleface is fucking ridiculous. Like, it's just like a 5-minute breakdown every song. It just doesn't stop. They just lean into it so well. And these guys hit that same sort of thing where it's just like, we're just going to throw a bunch of heavy-ass mosh riffs at you. Cranium feature goes crazy. It reminds me a lot of what they did with Martyr Defiled on that Black Tongue song, Coma. He comes in so low and sludgy, and then he gets like real piggy with it. It's so wet and piggy sounding. Now that they've been on the show, guess what? We're following them. This is our Mexican link. These are our brothers in Mexico. We love them. This song rules, and we're going to follow this because this bangs. This was so heavy. Windsor new mosh band Leech have put out a single called Infernal. I had never heard of this band before. They absolutely rule. This song has such a suffocating atmosphere. It feels like the bass is like pushing down on you. Like another band that used to do this really well was the metalcore band Legend back in the day. There was something about their mixes where it sounded like you were like surrounded by the music, and there was like this like weighted bass pushing it on you. I don't know if this makes sense to anyone, but listen to it and find out because I think I'm right. The vocals hit like a brick to the head. The song reminds me of like Structures at times. They remind me of Pulling Teeth, which is one of my old favorite bands. I think I recommended it when we first started doing this. So that's a great mix in my humble opinion. And yeah, it reminds me of Legend, which was like a really, really good old school metalcore band. Probably underrated at this point, actually. They kind of went in. Yeah, this sounds super evil. Really like it.
I wrote down like kind of Kaonashi,
Kaonashi. I shouldn't say it like that.
Um, yeah, the lyrics were super cool. Like, this is the church, this is the steeple. Yeah, this was super cool. I really liked how like the down-tuned guitars and like the shouty kind of lyrics, instead of like them being like super abrasive and like screechy and high or low, they kind of were like giving like more like a chariot delivery, just kind of like that scream, kind of less, not so much a growl. Yeah, I love the samples. I'm a sample guy. If you got samples, I'm in. What can I say? Yeah, no, super cool.
Agreed. Backed. We love Leech.
Next up, we have Windsor Thrash and Bash in Life and Chaos with their song Havoc. There's not too often that we get like metal bands here on the channel. We have all sorts of like off branches and offshoots of hybrids and different sorts of genres. But this was like super metal. Like, this was cool with like the intro with like the acoustic guitar and like, you know, at the locals only barbecue, Life and Chaos brought metal to the barbecue. I was getting like Arch Enemy, All That Remains, In Flames, Inspiration. Very cool track. Yeah, this was like, to the bone.
The acoustic intro, you could even hear like buzzing on like the recording, like makes it feel very raw and authentic. This band seamlessly jumps between thrash riffs and breakdowns at like just on a dime, like it just switches like that. Nothing stutters or stops awkwardly. It's very seamless blend. The reason I wrote thrash and bash, by the way, is because this is a thrash band that just makes you stop and mosh and therefore bash people every now and then. So the bass on here is very clear, very present, mixed very, very well. This reminds me of like everything I love about a band like Municipal Waste, but like wrapped in a much more like directly moshable package. Okay, the Niagara Legends Neon Cowboy finally had that second single out. Come along. This is the second single from Casey Baker and the boys in Neon Cowboy. First thing I need to bring up is just how great the mix sounds on this song. Guitars and drums.
I thought you were going to say the toaster.
No, I forgot about the toaster. I've actually moved on and forgotten about that. The guitars, the drum, the bass, and Casey just all sound like so like well recorded and mixed in this song. Song's like a little darker in tone. Like, dare I say, like it's a little sexy as well. It gives me like when I listen to this song, if I close my eyes, I'm picturing like 80s like Miami Vice imagery. Like driving down a beach, you got a babe in the passenger seat, you got a line of coke right on the dash. Casey has like just such a memorable voice. There's so much characteristic, and it's just utilized so well in this song. Bass and drums are super thick. Guitars are chimey and moody. Nothing in this song is too busy or too flashy. This song really seems to be about like the mood it's trying to set, and I think it absolutely nails it.
Yeah, no, this is a beautiful song. I can't remember what we classified them last time. I think we said post-grunge, kind of emo. We got big guitar tones, gorgeous leads. Casey's voice, I wrote, is like a tall glass of milk that you can just drink. It's just something just so thick. He's a veteran at writing, and his band is masterfully honed in the polished craft with this song. I believe the last time you said Neon Cowboy perfectly describes kind of like what they sonically go for, and I think that actually applies to this song too. There was something like Western about this, but like giving it a neon kind of edge, like
the Las Vegas before. Strip, babe in the passenger seat, cocaine on the babe in the passenger seat.
Yeah, I could see the song being played on the radio. I would love to see Neon Cowboy get some of the attention I think that they deserve, because these songs are well written, they're catchy to a casual radio listener. They won a Bandy last year, which was super cool, but I'd like to see them go up for a Juno. That'd be cool.
Nice. I like where you were going with that, because I thought you were just making the most weird, sarcastic joke. They won a Bandy last year, which is fucking crazy for them. So.
All right, next up we have Montreal Death Violence Rat Piss in Four Humors. This was disgusting power violence that comes in like a swarm of fists, I wrote down. The first time I jammed this EP, I was at the gym and I sprinted the entire EP, like this entire soundtrack. I was just full blown sprinting. This like 7 minutes, because I thought to myself when it first came out, I was like, "There's no way that this release is going to be more than 10 minutes," and it wasn't. It was like 7 minutes, which was great. Because if it was 10 minutes, I'd probably be dead. I wouldn't be here. I'd be dead. This was a cool record. Kind of, remind me of Weekend Nachos. I love when I get to say that, because Weekend Nachos are a cool band. This had a little bit more of a grindcore edge to it, but big and heavy tones, super kind of disgusting sounding, and I love the concept. Four humors, like I believe. Where's the song title?
Yeah. Well, the problem is, Phil, is that I think we can say all four of those words on YouTube, but I don't know if we can say them in a row. Rat Piss is such a fitting name for just how absolutely vile these recordings sound. And yeah, with a track list like I had to check this out. This is evil incarnate. It's slammy. It's soaked sounding grindy power violence. The vocals sound like they hurt. This mix has like a somewhat lo-fi quality to it that adds to like the borderline uncomfortable songwriting. Very chuggy, fast. They do a lot with like harmonics. It reminds me a little of like Year of the Knife. Got Pulling Teeth again from this one, and the band Mouth Breather, if you know about Mouth Breather, who I really like the band Mouth Breather. If you haven't checked out Mouth Breather, everyone check out Mouth Breather. This shit just sounds like you're getting hit in the head with a wet brick. Like, it's so good. I'm glad I came across this band because they rule. All right, guys, we took a quick bathroom break, and I've put on a hat because I can't stop touching my fucking hair. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I can see myself when we're recording, and I just keep touching my hair. I can't be trusted to have hair and look at myself. I'm just touching myself like a teenager. So bad. No, it's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I mean my hair. I kept touching my hair. I wish I could only see you on the screen, but I can't. I can see myself as well. No! No! So next on the dock, we have Montreal politician punchers Cold Authority with their song Class Division. This is thrashy political hardcore that just also happens to be totally pitiable. The two-step riffs in the song are absolute body movers. The mix sounds great. Breakdowns are big and well-placed. Vocalist sounds like a pissed-off Rottweiler. This is such a great mix of both like thrash and extremely punk at the same time. The balancing that they managed to do with these two is just really well done here. This makes me want to bang my head clean off. Really like it.
Yeah, no, this was like an aggressive hardcore anthem, but exactly what the title says, Class Division. This is for fans of terror, with the vocals being a little bit more growly than shouty, but full of two-steps, side-to-sides, breakdowns, everything you need for a good old mosh pit. This was cool. Next up, we have crusty hardcore from Montreal, Deathnap, with their single Bleed the Same. This is a cool band. Deathnap have been a band for 2017, just putting out like relentless crusty
2017 years. It's a long time to be a band, buddy. I'm gonna have to fact check you on that.
The bridging all sorts of different in between genres. This was cool. Power violence, punk, thrash, blast beats in between. This band has something for everyone. Vocals are more shouty. This was cool. I really like this, and it obviously had like this positive political message behind it, which we're always a big fan of here on Bandicoats.
Another band with some like major thrash influences, grimy, violent, whirling circle pit parts. Song is like fast as hell for the first half. Kind of reminds me of like Jane Doe era Converge writing. The drummer is getting a workout during this track. That wasn't a ghost. That was my dog. We've made that joke before. There's really like a frantic sort of stop and start breakdown at the end. And then like the kicks that are happening over it are just going off. Dissonant riffing at the end sounds really good. The vocals cut through the mix real nice. This checked all my boxes. This is heavy as hell. Super like it, Phil. Super like it.
I like when you check all my boxes.
Damn, okay, let's just calm down. I'm not touching myself to you. The problem was I kept fixing my hair. Okay, so that's what I meant, and let's put an end. There's no bit. I want to do no bits.
Pubic
I
hair.
just. Why do you stop? What am I supposed to do with that? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say? Great. You said pubic hair. Now I have to cut you saying pubic hair out of the video. No one wants to hear either of us say the words pubic hair. I promise. Whose turn is it?
Glitter glue.
No, like me or you. Glitter Glue's not here to do their turn. And for the next band, Glitter Glue is going to step in and tell you about it. Fogtown hardcore band Glitter Glue have a EP out called The Friends Club. This is an old 2023 release too, but I want to shine some light on it just because it was like fun. This is piss, sludgy, and unpredictable. There's also like buzzing and static in the mix, which gives it like a very like again like suffocating sort of like oppressive feeling. Almost sounds like a floor recording. Honestly, I think it could be. The bass is super thuddy, which tends to add like a lot of impact to like all the hits that are happening. The vocals are growly and like directly in your face. They're mixed, very present. When this band speeds up and does its fast parts, it almost reminds me of like Fuck the Facts or like Rotten Sound. Cool band, super heavy.
Have you looked on a map to see where St. John, Newfoundland is?
No.
Can I get you to pull one up right now? Just because I just want you to see how far away from society this city is.
Oh my god, it's on the edge of it's on like the eastern edge of St. John.
Just zoom out and just look at like
it's crazy.
It's the edge of Canada.
Well, that contextualizes their music quite a bit. It must be an alienating feeling out there, or maybe it rules. Who knows?
Who knows?
I've certainly
I don't
never
live
been
out
out
there.
there.
But what I thought was super cool was like when we hear music like this coming out of areas like that, because there's probably not too much of a scene going out there. Just only imagine not too many bands are traveling to play out there, and if they are, then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm going to eat my words on that. But I'm just telling you, it's super cool to hear a band like this coming out of an area like that. Very DIY, very like you said, basement recording. Rage induced. These are vegan. There's a vegan band from what I gather. I loved.
From the song "Eat This Vegan Dick." Is that where you gathered that from?
Some of the sound clips also, hinted towards that too. But what I really thought was super cool was like, the imperfections and feedback were like, something on its own that was really cool. But with the album art was this the adorable like children's artwork, like someone feeding animals, which I think is a creative way to utilize your children's art instead of hanging it up on the fridge or throwing it out.
I agree.
Sentient effects pedal board, strange limbs. We're back at it with a single called Nothing's Changed. Yeah, this is like a madness trio coming out of GTA. We've covered them a couple times. I think even the last couple of locals only, we've managed to cover them.
We've covered all the singles that have come out so far, yeah. Because they keep using the same character. I recognize that little guy coming up every time now.
Yeah, the little guy from First
Little
Choice
Green
Haircutters.
Ghouls, buddy.
All right, what are some of your likes?
Ghouls.
Son of a bitch. What are you talking about now?
Funny little green ghouls.
What? Like in movies and cartoons?
Little green ghouls, buddy.
Don't write ghouls. I'm not. I'm putting travel. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I'm always blown away about how like much of a sound like a trio like this can make just with a couple of instruments and like a vocalist. Like they just sound so full. And it's just like a testament to that. This is catchy, aggressive, bratty sounding. This is kind of like if like Joan Jett played in a punk band. It's like very well structured, well performed. The riffs and leads are monstrous. I also wrote down, I like the simplicity of like the drums, how they don't really necessarily like need to be anything special. They're just kind of like simple rolls, in simple counts. I think that a lot of the vocals and guitar are doing a lot of the work for the song. And I'm not trying to downplay the drummer's ability to do that. I just actually think it adds to it, similar to like how like the simplicity of like Meg White's drumming on like the White Stripes is like a dynamic to that band. Like it would be a very different band if you had like a different drummer. That's what I'm kind of saying to that is like the simplicity really adds to the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe this take will surprise you, but I was getting Big Every Time I Die vibes off of the song. I was getting
really?
from Parts Unknown and X Line's era, Every
Cool.
Time I Die. This song to me sounded like you were playing Decaying with the Boys and The Low Road Has No Exits at the same time. The instrumental work on this one is so engaging. The mix of like southern fried riffs and then like dissonant chords. The riffing on this song is definitely like my favorite I've heard out of these singles that have come out. And dude, that hammer on breakdown that happens, that's the most Every Time I Die shit ever. That it's so good. And then when it goes into the sort of like stop and start part at the end, and it's just like washed in effects as like atmosphere. Man, this made me want to like spin kick shit off my own walls. Like this like song, like this is a good song. This is really really good.
Hamilton Canadiana Americana artist Eli Wells has a single, Pober
Pobrecito. Pobrecito, maybe?
Pobrecito.
I don't speak
Pobrecito.
that language, so I don't want to speak out a term. Yeah, this is like a nice, bright, like spicy sounding pop folk song. Has like very busy percussion in the track, which gives it like a very driving, like kind of hyper quality that's balanced out by these like really smooth guitar lines, and a very reserved vocal performance. Another song that when I close my eyes, I basically see Red Dead Redemption. Eli is making some of the most bold and eclectic music that we get to talk about on this channel. And yeah, I think it's a total joy to listen to.
Yeah, no, I wrote down it's like putting hot sauce on a grape.
I have another quote here. This is the Nani-soaked metal punk shit disturbers from Montreal, Gutser. They have put out a song called Lysergic Philosopher. This is like a deafened, fast punk band, absolutely drenched in static and feedback. This sounds like an army of like angry robots attacking humanity. Vocals have a very interesting tone, inhuman, but in like a machine-like way. Probably what makes me think of the attacking robots. I really like the layering that they do with the more shouty and like even briefly clean vocals as well. And there's something like slightly psychedelic about this song. I feel like it feels like I'm like I took like evil acid and now I'm on like an evil trip. Yeah, I also wrote down that this is the audio equivalent of a failed exorcism.
It's funny that you give in your review because I wanted to give you a little bit of context. Paul, who plays in Hellbent, plays in Gutser and has for like 10 years. This is like his brainchild. This is a super cool band that blends like punk, metal, thrash, death metal. It kind of reminds me of like Leftover Crack, how they kind of do like the Scab, death metal, thrash. They just kind of power violence, kind of just jump around. It's kind of a testament. Like I think, I mentioned it earlier when we were talking about another band. Like it's about a band who hangs out together and like riffs off each other and brings individual like influence into a room and not necessarily tells each other where their influence is coming from. This is just like the final product of it. We love Gutser. Their vocalist Chris the Frog also does a bunch of cool stuff on TikTok where he's plugging all sorts of underground unsigned bands.
Nice.
Like he's always, if they're playing Montreal, he'll plug the show. He'll kind of do as much as he can to try and just elevate, that underground scene, and we're always here for it. So yeah, this was cool. There's a lot of layers going on in this, and it just kind of reminded me of like a well-crafted cake with like the bright guitars, the earth-shattering growls. Yeah, it just really kind of made this sound very unique for this band.
Have I ever asked you your opinion on carrot cake?
Yeah,
I have asked you. No. I've been much better. I haven't eaten any carrot cakes at night lately. So do you fuck with carrot cake?
Yeah.
Good. I'm sorry, I don't remember everything we talk about. I try my best.
Carrot cake slaps. You have carrot cake?
I no, but I fucking love carrot cake.
I had some Dairy Queen earlier.
Shit. I'll never tell. Don't tell my thighs. Am I right? Hey guys, I'll be here all episode.
I'll be here all episode. Yep.
I'll be here doing your mom.
Like this. I'm not gonna. I was gonna put my legs over my head.
Oh, you were gonna put your legs over your head? Motion. That's the thumbnail. Okay. At 1,000 subs, Phil will put his legs over his head. Sub goal. Let's go.
All right, we got the final stretch here.
Oh yeah, I have 12 bands. It's still so much. Oh my god, it's so many. It's you.
Next up, we have Ontario's Finest, Rust, with their single "Forced to Die." Just when you thought, when we were done talking about one of Ontario's hardest working musicians, producers, vocalist, Tommy, right? He's back at it again with Rust in his new single. Now, we always give a lot of love to Tommy, and it's well deserved and rightfully so. But we seem to fail to mention the brother dynamic that's always involved with Rust. We're talking about the Below,
Below brothers. Below, I think it is. Correct us if we're wrong, but yeah.
Rob and Rick, of course. They're both veterans, and they've been going to shows and listening to this kind of music for just as long as you and I have. And they've got that well-trained ear to really create their music. They're really calculated with what they're doing. Yeah, and there's we could go all day about several metal band examples of brothers in bands. We could just literally just spend a whole episode just listing bands. But it's just something about that dynamic that adds to that element, and it seems to be very present in metal specifically. Now I know it's in other kinds of music as well, but metal specifically, I feel like we can really give a bunch of examples. And the single is super cool. It's got the side to sides, the breakdowns, the two steps, everything that's well crafted for a perfect audience participation. Love the snare tune. You can't get enough of that. And super cool, simplistic, but aggressive and catchy at the same time.
Yeah, metallic hardcore refined to its best form. Huge two steps. Tommy sounds huge. That steel, odd, stale bridge is just so fucking Metallica. It sounds so Metallica, and I love it so much. The drums have tons of character. This mix is thick as all hell. Everything, every hit in this song, every chug just has such a big weight to it. This is just an instant pit classic. Rust are just doing it so big right now. Shout out to them. Stellar band. Next up, we have Kitchener alternative rock singer-songwriter Avalon Stone with their track Harder. This is an emotionally wrapped power pop rock song with bluesy tones and a little bit of southern atmosphere. Vocals kind of remind me of a more southern drawly Cranberries, or maybe even Metric. Very good vocal performance. Big catchy hook. It's dreary, incredibly punchy. Drums are mixed really, really well, and the bass in particular is mixed really, really well in this song. It's some of the most clear bass I've ever heard. It actually blew my mind how well the bass was produced in this song. And the hair metal solo was this really nice surprise. They're what sounded like a hair metal solo to me. Very just quick, flashy, 80s ass sounding hair metal solo. This was a cool song. How did this end up on our list? I'm curious. I wasn't aware of this artist.
I can't remember exactly how this came across. I think maybe they reached out. I think somebody reached out. I can't quite remember. But I was just gonna say, this is probably one of the most accessible sounds that we've actually covered on the show. We cover a lot of underground and unsigned artists who typically bring an aggressive edge, and it's not something that we like necessarily focus on. It's just something that we particularly love and are most focused on because that's something we gravitate to. However, you're in whatever kind of band you're in, reach out to us, and listen. We covered a band from Mexico. We'll cover it if you really want us to
To be
feature
fair,
them.
they were really heavy.
That's true too. But the point is that we're here to elevate all sorts of unsigned and underground artists, and that this was a really cool and accessible sound. Like this is easily something you could hear on the radio, something with like a post grunge rock edge. Yeah, like you could, makes for a sound that you could show your parents and they could easily get into. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I liked it. Very cool. Very different from what we normally listen to on this channel, but yeah, it was not. I like what I heard.
Next up, we have Peterborough MySpace Core in No Small Affair with their single Lies. Crispy, crunchy metalcore. That's what I wrote down. There's something about this recording that, I mean, like, it reminds me much of that, like, old post 2000s, like, time, like Honey, I Scooped the Mids. It's really crunchy. Crispy. I really like. I can't I don't know how else to describe it, but this is well sung hooks. It just it kind of brought me back to a time where like you started showing me all these kind of bands like It Dies Today and like From a Second Story Murder Window. Sorry, From a Second Story Window. Just like random bands that you would just show me. Unearth is another one that you showed me that these are bands I've never heard of before, and I remember you definitely showing me them. And it was just a certain time where like the production necessarily wasn't fully like hashed out, and that's what I got from this single.
You ruined my opening line because we're two on the page with this. But I wrote, Phil, I'm sure that you think that this almost sounds like pop punk, but this isn't pop punk, Phil. This is pop metalcore. But yeah, you already identified the because the metalcore in this, like, again, like if you go and listen to the song, you'll understand what we're talking about. But it's like it's very subtle because there's such a big arrangement of clean vocals on here, but like there's techie guitars. The vocal performance is really, really good. There's plenty of like two-step and throwdown potential in here. It's just not like directly obvious. You just have to kind of have the ear for it. To me, it feels like someone smashed like Scary Kids Scaring Kids and the band Aiden together. Maybe even like a little Chayados, especially in the second half with the more like techie guitars. This is another band that just makes me think about like checkered slip-ons and studded belts. Super fun, super catchy. Let's go.
Yeah, nostalgia for sure.
Next up, we have the Whitby Sad Boys Separator with their self-titled EP. My dumb brain listens to so much hardcore that I saw the band name Separator, and I was already hearing some guy going, "Side to fucking side," in my head.
Same. That's what I wrote down too. Yeah, like a deathcore band.
Yeah, and instead I got an emo-tinged indie rock band. Dude, this straight up blew me away. Each song on here really has like its own eclectic vibe. First one is more like a lo-fi, sort of a dreary punk light song. And then, dude, Mini Bangs. Song just gets like so ballady. The instrumentals are like lush and gorgeous. The song kind of reminded me of like the Mars Volta. Especially on the solo. The mixing on this whole EP is like really, really well done, but I find it stands out on the track Mini Bangs in particular. Like that song is like mixed amazing. The song Brumaire is more like a classic emo song, like Get Up Kids, Sparta, or like to be more current, like Basement. If you like that sort of like new age emo throwback stuff, you're gonna like this band. Like they do it really, really well. So yeah, that last song, dude. You would think that like the playlist had switched to a different band when those like super just like mixed in really loudly too, like open chords come in. And then it goes into this like crazy beautiful song with all this weird dark guitar around it, like, and he's giving like this amazing vocal performance. It's such a like weird dynamic song. This band is interesting. This is so cool. I haven't brought up Misser in a long time. They don't sound like Misser, but like they remind me of when I first heard Misser and I just like fell in love with this like unique type of emo I felt like I had found. And like, yeah, when I first started this release, I was like, oh, this is like not what I thought it was going to be. It's like a sort of like throwback emo band, like a Get Up Kids sort of worship band. And dude, by the end, I was totally blown away. Like I think their songwriting is so strong.
Like I said, I definitely thought it was going to be like some sort of deathcore band. Yeah, there's something like, I was getting like waves, and I also wrote down early Weezer for this influence as well.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
There's something, something about like a perfect beach music vibe. This is like hot sun by the water, drinking a cold beer is how I envision myself, like really enjoying this music to its fullest. But yeah, super, super cool. Separator was like, I don't know what else I could really add to what you were saying there. I think you actually really described it perfectly. This was something that threw me right, like, like I was right there with you. Oh, we're going to get like Separator, deathcore. This is their self-titled EP, and here we get this really beautiful indie rock band that was just, I think, swept us both off our feet.
Yeah, it completely exceeded my expectations. Ooh,
so
speaking of exceeding my expectations,
we have Ottawa Noise Punks, Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
With their single They Shoot Horses, don't they?
So this band is like really hard to define. It feels like Idol, System of a Down, Daughters, and Chat Pile all in the same song. Like it rages, it's fast, it's weird, it's moshable. This band is ridiculous. And I'm genuinely bummed out that this band like doesn't have more music. Like I really hope I really hope that this band has more music on the way, because like this is like completely up my alley, and I really, really, really like this song, and I really want to hear more music exactly like this. Like I love this, man. That breakdown at the end sounds like a fucking Night Terror. Like this is like God, I want more from this band so bad. This is I'm not going to be able to describe this band with like words really. You just got to check this out. This is, if you like bands again like Daughters, Chat Pile, like weird, unhinged, artsy, but this band is like more moshy than all those bands too. Like Chat Pile will have their like 7-minute breakdowns and stuff, and it's cool, but this band has like a fast like punk consistency to them too. Like I really, really liked this.
Yeah, no, I wasn't sure how I felt about this song title, because I'm not sure if you knew this about me, Tyler, but I was born in the year 1990, which is the year of the horse in the Chinese zodiac. And I don't know if you also knew this, but my name Philip actually means, like, if you look up the meaning of it, means lover of horses.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
That can't be real. What are you talking about?
Google it right now.
Well, I'll be damned.
Also, when I was 7, I was kicked by a horse. So I think, yeah, you can say that I have like horse-like powers. Like I'm able to drink a lot of water at once, and I can gallop at high speeds. You can catch me at Fredericton Downs, being the next betting horse, or like a cop riding me, like during their nightclubs.
Wait, a cop riding you during their nightclubs?
I mean, you know how like during a bit, like St. Catharines gets super busy on like a Friday night with all the nightclubs. You see a couple horse cops come up.
Right.
That's me. They're gonna be riding me.
Both of them. Okay. And sorry, just so I wait. Hold on. Okay, hold on. You gave me a lot to unpack. So you got the powers of a horse by being kicked in the head by a horse.
When I was 7.
Okay, so you have the powers of a horse.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, you are a horse, because the cops are going to be riding you. So do you look like you? Like, are you human, you with a cop on you?
I'm kind of like Bo Jackman.
Bo Jackman, yeah, Hugh Bo Jackman, the actor who played Sabretooth, the Deadpool guy, Sabretooth, Hugo Jackman.
Hugo
Hugo Jackman. I love Hugo Jackman.
It also reminds me of Johnny Truitt.
I agree. So St. Catherine's Flower Power Band, Mushroom Valley have put out a song called Astrodalia.
Mm-hmm.
This one's a little heavier and a little gloomier than the last single. I really like the vocal harmonizing on this one. It's brief and it's buried, but it's still used very effectively. It's very atmospheric. They just use their voices really well. I like how the main
Mm-hmm.
riff of this song has like a dad rock sort of vibe to it.
Yeah.
But it's like super reverbed out though, and like the feedback on this song is like borderline intrusive. It like hurts sometimes, like some of the feedback that comes in. I mean this in a good way. It's like an uncomfortable sort of shot of feedback that comes in certain parts. And this band is just so good at creating like a heavy atmosphere around their music. I don't know if it's a trick in like the mixing, but I just find that their music fills a room in a way that not everything else I listen to does. Like
Mm-hmm.
it really sounds like it's surrounding you when it's on. Like I've said before, this is like one of the most creative bands in Ontario right now. I love this. This is super cool.
It's funny that you wrote Dad Rock because I put Soundgarden Spoon Man. Actually, that's what that riff kind of
Spoon
reminded me.
Man,
Yeah.
come together
but, like,
with my hand, save
quickly-
me. Sorry, that song's really funny to me.
Uh,
I know it's like a serious song about heroin addiction, but I mean, he's singing Spoon Man.
yeah, this was like the song quickly turned to like a shoegaze song reminiscent of the 90s. This song actually, I wrote down, it reminds me of something that would play in a 90s rom-com when the couple would take like drugs together. This is the song that would be playing in that scene.
Good call.
With
That's
like
a really good call.
spacey, trippy, well orchestrated, catchy, hitting a lot of marks with just this single. So yeah, super cool. Next up, we have Niagara Power Pop, the minimum wage with their single "Everyone Is." Now this was cool. This reminded me of like the Gaslight anthem, with like indie rock and roll with that punk influence, folk influence, kind of like what Menzingers does. Yeah, no, this is kind of like an anti-social media anthem. I don't know if you were getting that as well, but yeah, this is cool, catchy radio rock.
This is reminded me so much of the Foo Fighters.
Cool.
Like, yeah, I like the piano intro, super nice, and then like the way it like switches into like the song proper is really good. Leads are super catchy, lyrics are sticky, easy to remember. Type of writing where by the time you hear the verse, you already know how it goes in a way. You already have the melody. By the time you hear the chorus the second time, you already know the lyrics. And yeah, I was just getting so much Foo Fighters from this song. Now, I think that's a compliment. It's definitely a compliment for me. I like the Foo Fighters, but yeah, just big Foo vibes on this one. Good song. Really like it. Hooky.
Yeah, super hooky. I like the name too, the minimum wage. I think that's super cool. And actually, I didn't know that they were from Niagara. That's awesome.
Turtle Island hardcore band Indian Giver have a track out called Soul Wound. There's no gimmicks in this song. This is a no bullshit song. This is just straight up pissed off hardcore. Evil dissonant chords, desperate wailing yells, and yells that are like have some like chilling lyrics to them. I don't know if you looked at the lyrics to the song, but it's like
No.
it's downright uncomfortable. Yeah, and the group chant is absolutely gnarly. I like absolutely love it. There's like a huge weighty rhythm to this song. Yeah, not much more to say about it sonically. Just a really heavy ass lamback hardcore song.
Yeah, I was getting Converge vibes, I think, believe, from this one. This was like an aggressive metal infused hardcore punk. Yeah, I really liked what they were doing. I really liked the artwork too. I know this was heavy as fuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, to go a little bit deeper into the lyrics here. Now, not that I'm like really the type of person to speak on anything First Nations people have experienced. I can't even imagine a fraction of what they've gone through. But yeah, this is very much like an anti-settler, like you should face what you've sort of done, sort of message in this. And this is a message that oftenly gets like purposely ignored because obviously it makes people uncomfortable, right? But I mean, like this should make you uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's bands like Acacia Strain that have lyrics that are super crazy pessimistic and super angry. But in a song like this, where there is a clear context of what the person is angry about, it's a lot more fucking real. And it's not just art. And I just really,
Yeah.
really respect that. Like, these are like chilling lyrics. Like, this is really good. And just having the context of it too is just makes it like
More
really
impactful.
real feeling. Yeah, it's exactly.
Next
Oh my
up,
God.
we have GTA New Metal. It also says here, fuck Kung Fu Panda 4. You know, I
Not
didn't
sure
even
what
know
that's
they
about,
made
so.
4 of them.
That's a lot. Jack Black getting that dough, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
Pay
this was
our boy.
this is Scab with their single "Freak Show" featuring Dear God. Now, this was so cool. This was like this crazy hybrid of rap, new metal, hardcore, industrial, hitting all sorts of different marks. I'm absolutely here for it. Kind of reminded me of more like an accessible Death Grips, like if that makes any sense. Like it was just like this, like very in like experimental kind of like area that everybody was going for. Yeah, no, this was kind of reminded me of Corn at time too. Like this was, I don't know, man, this was all over the place, and I really liked it. This is the only single I think from the band, and actually when we first had this up, I had this confused with the Hamilton band Scabs Off. I was like, oh, Scabs Off, and like Dear God are doing something, and then I started playing the song, and I was like, "This is not the band Scabs Off."
Scab Off has changed a lot.
Yeah, but this was super cool. I really like this single.
The song's nuts. It's like Beastie Boys and Limp Bizkit, like mashed together, but with a drummer that deeply understands how mosh riffs work and like how mosh parts work. Every moment of the song rules. I'm stoked on the new wave of new metal right now. And like I can't believe like how much like the GTA is leading it. Like with Clockwise, Dear God, and now these guys. This is like amazing. Like I think sometimes when we look back on like new metal as a genre, we forget how much of it was like total dog shit. And we basically or we view it through this like very self-aware sort of like everyone's in on the joke. Like Fred Durst knows Limp Bizkit's silly and stuff like that. This is not that. You don't have to be like, oh, I get it, Clockwise, heard it, or you don't have to like self-deflect to listen to a band like Clockwise or to listen to Scab. Like this is just straight up good. It doesn't feel gimmicky. It doesn't feel like they're trying to force a vibe. I'm stoked on the new wave of new metal, and I think it's so sick that like this is happening like in the GTA because these bands could be from anywhere, and I'd be so stoked on a sound like this. And I know that I think I know that the singer of Clockwise, Jesse, he's in Dear God's band, and I'm pretty sure he has something to do with this too. So it feels like Jesse might be like the like arbiter of all this new metal resurgence. So shout out you if this is what you're pushing, because you're pushing a good product. Okay, so the Goats, an Ethereal Tomb, Turtle Island street metal band, have a single out, Observing a Broken Man. Looks like they're also compiling some stuff into like an EP of sorts that's going to get pressed into vinyl. So
Cool.
these guys are always busy. I love it. They're doing big things since we talked to them, and I'm just so happy to see them taking off the way they are right now. I love Ethereal Tomb. I think I can safely say we, as a collective, love Ethereal Tomb. We've always been rooting for them since we first heard of them. Song's an absolute pitter. This one's going to go off live for sure. And the drums are just ripping through this song. Like the speed those drums hit. Alexander sounds absolutely brutal. Anger in his voice is so genuine. And I like how Ethereal Tomb has been like an excuse for us to like watch Alexander's growth as a musician in general too. Like his guitar work getting better and stuff like that too. Like it's awesome. It's something about this band just feels so personal. Like you really feel like Alexander's bearing it all for you. You really feel that. I love this band so much.
The tones on the guitars are super heavy. It's just like buildings collapsing. These folks are hardworking, just like you were saying. Like they're always grinding it out, playing a ton of shows. We love to celebrate that here on the show. Yeah, they're good people just spreading awareness and overall accessibility for younger folks, for them to come out to shows. This is the perfect. This is like honestly, they have a legacy of like the way that like Alexis on Fire kind of started. Like they were just like this like captivating like band that you kind of knew about hearsay, and like maybe it's a little bit more amplified with like Ethereal Tomb's presence on like TikTok and social media in general. However, I think they're doing a great job at getting younger folks coming out to shows that they're playing. Like they're playing like shows with like Spirit of Vengeance and like, you know, Mile End and Reality Denied, and they can play with other metal bands. I think
And the Cancer Bats.
they can shapeshift themselves and manage to like, you know, play with the Cancer Bats. They're a really cool band, and yeah, like just so you say what you're saying, we love to see them succeed, and I think that they have the legacy there for them. I think they can. I think we can see some really cool stuff. We have Toronto Darkwave give my remains to Broadway with their song "Rend My Flesh." Now I love this band. This is my jam. This is sad, dark, industrial synthwave. The song was super catchy, right up there with the Pool Shark single that they released last year that won a Bandy. That was exciting. I love that style of vocals.
Congratulations.
That like dark, moody, like very like specific sounding to that genre, and like it only seems like it's suiting to that genre, and only so many vocalists can pull it off. This is super cool. I don't think enough people are making this type of music. It's certainly like a specific and niche sound. However, I'm here for it. I always appreciate when Give My Remains to Broadway always puts out a single, because it's something that that I'm not hearing coming out of this area. We hear a lot of hardcore, we hear a lot of metal. Not many dark wave bands are coming out of
Not a
Toronto.
huge dark wave scene that I'm aware of, yeah. And you are right. It's definitely, it definitely takes a special vocalist to authentically pull this off.
Mhm.
Like maybe like tonally you can sort of hit the same notes and stuff because it is just like a lower register, but to pull off the like the drama and like to do that live and become
Mhm.
the character, yeah, that takes a special vocalist to do. That's a performer more than just a vocalist, right?
Right.
Yeah, this is just a dancey dark gothic banger from GMRTB. That's what their friends call them. I went through a weird sort of love relationship with She Wants Revenge, and this just always reminds me of that specific time in my life. This is dripping in drama, makes you want to become a vampire and make freaky vampire love.
Nice. I hope
Yeah.
it's me.
You're really harping on this. You have a wife, bucko. So this is a Winnipeg rock and roll band. This is the song Soul Declares by the band Y. These guys reached out to us just with some kind words. They didn't ask us to cover them, but hey, you reach out, you sweet to me, I'm going to be sweet back.
Mhm.
This is a moody rock song with some ethereal leads, chimey guitars, a little bit of like a progressive songwriting structure to it. Reminds me quite a bit of like the band U2. A lot of conviction in the singer's delivery. Mix and master on this track is really, really nice. Really like the lead guitar work on the song quite a bit. I'm a little out of my depth in this particular genre. So I don't know if I can like really evaluate it as strongly as someone who maybe listens to this type of music more often, but I do like what I heard. So shout out to them.
Yeah, this was like a 70s rock song wrapped in like a modern layer of production with like alternative influences. You know how like there's like a common, you know, agreeance. That's not what I'm trying. It's just a common agreement that Greta Van
Agreements, dude. I don't know why it took me so long to get what you said. We had an agreement. It's such a fucking Ricky from Trailer Parks thing.
You know how like Greta Van Fleet like suck, and like everyone like kind of like universally says that, just because like
I mean, yeah.
they're like
I didn't know we were cooking Greta Van Fleet today, but yeah.
It's just like they're a carbon copy of like Led Zeppelin. I think Y is a great
which is Which is really funny, sorry, because Led Zeppelin are just infamous for stealing music from local like blues artists. So they're stealing stolen music. It's pretty incredible.
That's funny.
Sorry.
However, I was going to say like why is a great example of how you could still be influenced by those band and create like fun and like new rock and roll inspired music without like carbon copying that era. Like you can take
That's a good point, yeah.
you know, yeah, no. So you can tell that this band performs well together. Simply just by their performance on the song. Seems well crafted and tediously rehearsed. I bet you they're jamming twice, three times a week, and you can really hear it and through their music. So yeah, shout out to Y. Thank you for reaching out and yeah. All right. Last but certainly not least, we have Canada's top shelf hardcore veterans. They're the best at it. Of course, we're talking about Comeback Kid with their EP, Trouble EP. It's got the single Trouble in the Winner Circle. We did a reaction to that. What is there to say about Comeback Kid that we haven't already said? If you don't know this band, get yourself out of the gutter. Go ahead, pull up Spotify, listen to Apple Music, whatever streaming platform you listen to. Listen to Comeback Kid. They are an iconic Canadian hardcore band, and they're back at it with a new EP. This is super cool. It's got more of like that punk influence that we keep hearing more and more as records keep coming out from this band, which is great because they're really good at blending it all together. It doesn't seem forced at all. It seems like very natural in the deliverance of how they play and just how it's just overall performed. We're huge fans of Goose on the show. He's been on the podcast, so shout out to Goose. Shout out to Comeback Kid in general. You guys put on a great performance anytime you guys are playing. I think they just played Moncton not too long ago performing this run of songs on a small tour. It was on a Thursday, though, so I couldn't make it. But lo and behold, we love Comeback Kid. And yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about it when I was reviewing this EP, and not Comeback Kid is like one of the most consistent bands in hardcore. Like they have like so many of their records are good, and now that I think about it, they may be the most consistent band in Canadian hardcore.
Yeah.
Like they don't have a bad record. I can't start listening to Comeback Kid without jumping around records and listening to all these different tracks off each album. Like they're just so consistent, and I love this EP. Like it actually was giving me like a more refined sort of broadcasting era of them.
Cool.
That's I was getting a lot of like broadcasting sort of era from them, like fast, punky, but like atmospheric. Yeah, and I like that they put out this EP because we got like 4 banger songs and we didn't have to wait for like a full album cycle worth of writing, you know what I mean? Like I love this is like in and out, super good. Every song has its own character and fleshed out ideas on it. The riffs are super memorable. The song Disruption is bananas. Chompin' has like a super fun hook. Breaking and Bruised is like atmospheric. I love the group vocals in that song. There's menacing ass guitar work all over that song. Bass all over this is mixed super thick. And yeah, Andrew Goose sounds vicious as ever. He's another one of my favorite vocalists in hardcore. He just has a really good delivery and a very, very distinct voice. And the way he's able to like control the amount of natural distortion happening in his vocals, raspy, but so easy to understand. It's very, very crazy good. Heavy Steps felt like such a youthful release from this band. They didn't sound like a band that's been playing music since since I was like a teenager. You know what I mean? Like, and this EP feels like that too. This feels like a young band that's just like writing shit. Like it sounds effortless. It sounds like they just walk in a room and this just amazing Comeback Kid sounding hardcore song just pops out. This is the best of the best. And the fact that this band is Canadian just rules. It's awesome. We got one of the best ones. They're so good. This EP bangs. Shout out Comeback Kid. All right, guys, that is the show. Also, remember, we do have a join button down there. So if you want to cost us a couple dollars per month, it's only $2 to join. That's Canadian, too. So if you're in America, that's like 10 cents or something funny. Yeah, just helps us out, helps us keep the lights on. We do everything here by ourselves. We ain't no industry plants. We have a Lander affiliate code down there, so if you've been interested in Lander products, mixing, mastering products, plugins, that sort of thing, you make your own music, that can be beneficial, so we can save you some money. So click down there. And yeah, you want to be featured on this show, hit us up. We're nice guys. We'll check out your music. We do our best. Give us a like if you like the video. If you're feeling generous, give us a subscribe. Helps us out more than you probably know. It's just a little click of a button. Just a little click of a button. And yeah, thank you for watching Locals Only. We're happy to bring it to you.